Hello, this is Dan the Furniture Repairman. Today we have a quick video on using acetone to strip off varnish off of furniture. And I've been seeing a lot of questions about this lately, so I figured I'd just give you a little bit of a different tool to use. Now we've used Scotch Brights, we've used laser beams, and then this is something you can get acetone at just about any place. Acetone is just nail polish remover. But this is a door from a buffet, and we're just pouring straight acetone right on it. And you can see the tech is just adjusting it a little bit, trying to make it a little bit more level so it doesn't run off. Now you need to be well ventilated, and you need some protective gear. Um, wear your safety goggles, wear your respirator, and wear your gloves. And the acetone really does eat up gloves, so you're going to go through them quite quickly. Now we're leaving it sit there for a little while. Now we're just going to test it. And then as we test it, you can see how easily the varnish comes off. Now it's not always going to work this way, but if I strip a piece of furniture, the very first thing I do is I try a little acetone, I pour it on there, and I see what happens. And if the acetone will eat the varnish up and get it out of my way, then there's no reason to go to strippers or anything like that. This is all I'm going to use. Now, I'm going to work, this is a fine steel wool, number 440 steel wool. And after that, what we're going to do is just take a paper towel and we're going to wipe this back down off and get the rest of it off. Now, chances are this is a shellac finish or maybe a lacquer finish. Either one, acetone will really turn them back to a liquid. It's not going to work so well with a harder urethane finish or a two-part sort of varnish or something like that. But the bulk of furniture you're going to be stripping is going to be basically a lacquer finish or a shellac finish. Okay, this will also work on a lot of paints, believe it or not, or at least it'll help you get a lot of the paint removed. You can also use this in carvings, and you're just going to use a brush and keep brushing into carvings, and maybe use a little bit of a wire brush to work it into the grooves. And the next thing you know, after a couple of minutes, you've got your carvings all cleaned up and they look beautiful. So you don't need tiny little Dremels or tiny little sanding tools or all these things. You just have to keep bathing it in the acetone, brushing it in the acetone. Now the acetone turns the varnish to liquid. And if you don't wipe it back off, then the acetone is going to evaporate and the varnish is going to re-solidify into the grooves and everything like that. So it's important to wipe off what you've got liquid so you get it out of the way. And you can see right there how quickly this door is now cleaning up. Now this is real time, and we're just coming up on 3 minutes here. So if you can strip one side of a door in 3 minutes, now this is a very easy door. It's a flat panel. There's no grooves. There's no moldings. Then you're doing pretty good. And then we're going to come back just one more time with some very clean acetone on top. And you can see we're working right over that bin right there. We've just covered it with some tin foil. So in case we have our piece inside of there or something like that, we're not going to get any transference. So we always have a nice clean work surface. So I would recommend covering whatever you're working on with tin foil. That way when you're done, you can just ball it up and throw it outside. Now that's a note about stripping. All your rags, all your steel wool, everything doesn't stay in the house. It depends on the type of varnish, but it can be combustible. You definitely want to wet it down and then open it up so it dries, but get it out of the house just in case it does burst into flames. So if it's an oil-based varnish that you're removing in this manner, you do have a fire hazard, and you have to be very careful with your rags, with your steel wool, with your tools. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over, and it's just kind of a little different view of the bin that we've made. We use this bin for a lot of our work here. And now what we did is we put less on, and this is a little different way of doing it, just to kind of for a demonstration purpose. We put a little less on there, and she's moving it around just with that paintbrush there. Now there's just a cheapy, we call them chip brushes, but there's a lot of different names for them. And you can see the grooves. It just literally just turns that into jelly there. And then you're just going to come back with your steel wool or your paper towels and wipe it off. If you have carvings, and this is what you're going to do, you're going to use a brush, get in there and work in there. You could use a soft toothbrush probably, see if it holds up with the acetone, and then use that to scrub inside the carvings. and get the old varnish out of the way and end up with a really nice looking product. And here it is. This has been stripped. This took all of 4 to 5 minutes. It's ready for a quick 150 sanding. There's no reason to go any coarser grit than that. We'll probably wet it down a little bit, come back and hit it again with a 220, and then we're ready to varnish. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Dan, the Furniture Repairman. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I'll try to get back to you. Remember, every time we restore a piece, it keeps it out of the landfill, and we don't cut down more trees to build new furniture. That's always a good thing. Y'all have a good day now.